he got strong. I mean, he's a strong guy. He's a good old boy, so he likes to get in there and turn the music on and get going.
So tell me, what kind of workouts did you do with Miles to get him ready for this role?
Well, like any project, I want to know what's kind of required of him. He had to go through flight school and do all this kind of stuff in preparation. Tom is a huge advocate of making sure that these guys are really put through the rigors and the tests, and because they were in actually in these jets and under a lot of G's. So obviously, I think we started with very general, physical preparation, very generalized, just getting strong, moving well, just making sure physically he was very fit. And then, when we got into like the heavier equipment, the deadlifts, the squats and things like that, there's something that you learn to do, and that's called bracing, right? So that's, the bracing is very, it kind of parallels what they're doing in the jet when they're prepping for, when they're getting ready for the high G's, the high G pulls, and you see them, they're like, and what they're doing is they're helping, it forces the blood back into the brain. And if they don't do that, they get that closed tunnel vision, which you see in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So learning to brace, you're not really doing that during the movement, but you are you're filling the lungs up, because what that does, that creates tension, and it keeps you, very, very tight. And it's for safety measures through those ranges of motion. So we did a lot of that, which was odd, but it is what it is, and we needed to do it. So.
Right. So you're training the body and training the brain at the same time, pretty much.
Yeah. Forcing the blood and the oxygen back into the brain.
Yeah. So was this a totally different type of workouts that you had to do, obviously for a different, like, you said you're up in a G-force plane. So I'm sure you had to kind of tailor your workouts just for that, like you said.
Yeah. I think that was our goal, was to, get him prepared for that flight training, which I've never trained anybody for. I just, it was just, you kind of dive into a little bit of what these guys are required, and this is what I came up with, and it worked. So he said he did a really good job. He never threw up. So,
that's good.
So I don't know if I'll take credit for all of it, but the beach scene, the big scene for Miles, I definitely did not teach him that dance. That's all Miles. But we don't really prep for the aesthetics, the aesthetic qualities. That's something that kind of comes as a side effect of really good training.
Right.
So training him like an athlete, getting him as prepared as we possibly can, as strong as we possibly can, because Tom was going to put these guys through it, and they definitely did. You could see it on their face, right? And when they're doing these forcing, they're not faking this.
No.
This is real. This is real. So, and that's part of the movie, and the incredible part of the movie. So that's the best I could do for Miles. Now, we did do a lot more conditioning a couple of weeks before the beach scene, just to try to top it off, but he really didn't need it. He was ready.
Yeah. Was he ever hesitant about anything that you put him through, or was he like gung-ho, ready to go, and would do anything for this role?
Yeah, I actually trained Miles for a handful of movies, and this is one that I've never seen him really that committed to. He took everything very serious. He was very professional. Not that he's not professional, but this one, where you could just tell that this had that thing that it was really going to require and push him in his limits physically, and the payoff was an incredible movie.
Yeah, definitely. Can you kind of walk me through some of those workouts, and how many days a week were you guys in the gym together? And, what kind of did you concentrate on different body parts for one day and kind of switch it up for the next?
Yeah. We always start off with just basic fundamentals, movement. And then we got into our strength program, which was, I believe it was 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And then that was where we did like the heavy. He was deadlifting 450 pounds. he got strong. I mean, he's a strong guy. He's a good old boy, you know. So he likes to get in there and turn the music on and get going. But we would do the deadlifts are very much the focus, the big focus for us, and he really crushed that. And then the sled. I don't know if you've seen my Instagram. I posted a picture of us, and he's pushing the sled, and there was literally no more room for the weight. You know, like that was it. You know, so he maxed out on that, and then you could see that there was what we call shoulder complexes and stuff like that for the conditioning, and that's moving through a series of exercises really quick, gets the heart rate up, and those are some good finishers that we would perform. Definitely.
How much muscle weight would you say that he gained for this role?
You know what? He was really quite heavy for this role. You wouldn't think it because he was so lean, but I think he was around 190. Wow. And that's, you know, in that lean, that's a lot of muscle. So he did a really good job. Yeah, definitely. Do you think that he's going to keep this up? Is it hard to keep that type of... He's already back in the gym. You know, you got to remember this movie was shot a few years ago.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Because of COVID, you know, we've had to really shelve it, or they had to shelve it, not we. They shelved it and released it, you know, on a much later date. But, you know, he has a gym at home that I helped him build, and he's used that quite a bit. He's already back in the gym, so he's getting ready to go. I think that he takes it serious. You know, he also understands that it just feels better to stay, you know, healthy. There's a little different focus. You know, we go in and out of like, let's look good, let's, you know, feel good, let's look good, let's feel good. And it's kind of synonymous. So he's good.
Good. What did his diet consist of? I'm sure when you're pushing that much weight and, you know, lifting that heavy, you know, you have to obviously have a lot of calories in your body as well.
Yeah, and again, it really changes throughout the whole process of getting in shape. I think in the beginning, we decreased his calories, we cut things down a little bit, and then increased during the heavy weight training portion to put the muscle on. I have an in-house dietitian she worked at Stanford previously. Her name's Ornella, and she kind of takes that whole thing, takes it off my shoulders. I used to do all of that stuff, but I hired her, and now I just shovel it off to her, and she handles it all. But he increased calories, put the muscle on, and then we cut back closer to training for the flight school. Yeah, and it shows. Yeah.
So did he have to gain and lose weight during this whole process too?
We did, because you know, you don't want to go in with a calorie deficit and you're trying to lift heavy. It's just not. It doesn't work out well. You know, it can be quite frustrating. But yeah, so we increased the calories during the heavy strength training portion of it, and then pretty quickly thereafter had put him into a deficit. Yeah.
Did Tom join you guys in the gym at all?
No, Tom wasn't with us in the gym. I wish he would have. But no, I think that Tom was still shooting other movies as well and finishing up, and he has his own trainer as well. But that would have been nice.
Definitely. Any fun behind the scenes moments on set, if you were on set at all?
Those guys had a blast. I mean, it was very, very, you know, professional, very dialed in. But it felt like a good family. There was didn't seem like there was any friction or anything like that between any of the cast members. Everybody was in it. It was great to see. It was really, I feel very blessed to be a part of it. I saw the movie twice already, and I'd definitely go back and see it again.
Definitely. So if anybody wants to get a body like Miles Teller, what would you say are the 3 things that they need to do?
Well, number one, you have to get your mind right. You've got to really want to get in there and stay consistent. I would get a program and make sure that you're keeping track, because we keep track every single day that he came in. So we had a program set up, was ready to go. We followed that program. We kept track of all the numbers. We progressed that, you know, every single workout. There was a progression. And then of course the diet side of it it's 50%, you know.
Yeah. Was there anything that he like hated cutting out of his diet?
Yeah. Yeah. There was actually. Let's see. Well, there's no drinking. I'm sure that was tough. You know, him and his wife cook a lot, so I think that there was probably, you know, the good stuff, the burgers and things like that. I know that he does cook a lot, so you know, instead of having a burger on a bun, it was a burger on, you know, kind of like a lettuce wrap and things like that. He definitely did a good job on the diet side.
Yeah, definitely. And like, you know, everybody is talking about his abs. How do you get those abs? You know, a lot of crunches or just, is it crunches and mostly diet, right?
Yeah. I mean, we did our fair share of ab work, whether that was like an ab roller, starting with the planks, going into ab rolling, you know, going into toe touches on the bar, hanging and things like that. You know, we threw a plethora of different exercises at him. But everything I threw at Miles, he understood. There was no friction. There was no hesitation. It was, what can we perform? And he got in incredible shape. So
yeah, I mean, usually there's some things that people hate to do when they go to the gym, whether it's like running or, you know, lifting heavy or something like that. Was there anything that Miles just was like, I just don't want to do this, but of course he pushed through and did it anyway? Yeah,
then that was definitely the conditioning, the cardio stuff that, you know, he loves lifting, you know, like it's just, it gives him that instant gratification, you know. It's a good loop. But the conditioning stuff, he definitely didn't like it. You don't like it until it becomes, you know, part of the program and you get it and you understand why you're doing it, you know.
Of course, feels good once it's over, right?
Yeah.
Jason, where can people learn more about you and more about the programs that you do?
You know, the Instagram stuff is usually pretty good. I throw some stuff up there once in a while, but I don't really have the website or anything like that that's up there. I stay kind of under the radar and focus on the clients and stay private. But I am working on putting together an app and some stuff like that for people to have that information. I think it's time. I've heard the pleads, and so I'm going to answer soon, very soon.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited.
We'll have Miles workout up there for you guys.
Love it.